You want to know the weirdest thing about human psychology? People don't fall in love with you because of how amazing you are. They fall in love with you because of how amazing you make them feel about themselves. And today, I'm going to teach you the most powerful communication technique I've ever discovered. It is so simple, most people miss it completely. And it is so effective, it's almost unfair. I call it the mirror trick. Here's what happened. I was at a dinner party last month watching this guy named David work the room. David wasn't the smartest person there. He wasn't the funniest. He wasn't even the best looking. But by the end of the night, everybody wanted to be around David. People were asking for his business card, inviting him to other events, even offering him job opportunities. What was his secret? Every conversation David had, he made the other person the star of their own story. When somebody mentioned that they were learning Spanish, David didn't say, "Oh, I speak 3 languages." He said, "That's incredible. What inspired you to take that on? I bet you're picking up faster than you expected." When somebody talked about their promotion, David didn't share his own career wins. He said, "You must have really impressed them. What did you think set you apart from the other candidates?" Here's what David understood that most people don't. Something I heard from Mary Kay Ash long ago, but few practice. Everybody you meet is carrying around an invisible sign around their neck that says, "Make me feel important." But instead of reading that sign, most people walk around with their own invisible sign, "Let me tell you how important I am." And that's why they fail. Think about your last networking event. How many people asked you about yourself versus told you about themselves? Think about your last first date. Did they want to know your story or did they just wait for their turn to talk? Think about your last job interview. Did you focus on what they needed or what you were looking for? Here's the psychology behind why the mirror trick works. When you make someone else the center of attention, you trigger what psychologists call the protagonist effect. Suddenly, they feel like the hero of their own movie, and you become their favorite supporting character. But here's where it gets really powerful. When you consistently make people feel important and heard and valued, they start associating those good feelings with you. They don't consciously think, "David makes me feel good about myself." They think, "I really like David. There's just something about him." That something is that he's become a mirror that reflects back their best self. So, here's the mirror trick in action. Instead of, "I just got promoted to VP," try, "You have such great insights about leadership. I'd love to hear your thoughts on something," and then ask your question. Instead of, "I've been to 30 countries," try, "Your trip to Italy sounds amazing. What was the moment that made you fall in love with travel?" Instead of, "I graduated from Harvard," try, "You seem to have such a clear vision for your business. How did you develop that strategic thinking?" See what's happening here? You're not hiding your accomplishments. You're making their accomplishments the focus. And here's the beautiful irony. The less you talk about how impressive you are, the more impressed people are with you. Here's your mirror trick challenge. Today, I want you to try this in just one conversation. Pick somebody that you'll interact with today and make them the absolute star of that conversation. Ask them about their wins, their challenges, their insights, their experiences. And here's the key. Be genuinely curious. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Actually listen to their answers and ask follow-up questions. Watch what happens. Watch how their energy changes. Watch how they light up. Watch how they start viewing you differently. Because here's what I know. The person who makes others feel important becomes important to others. So now you, tell us in the comments below, who are you going to use the mirror trick with today? And what questions will you ask to make them the star of their own story? Remember, stop trying to be interesting and start being interested. Your influence depends on it.